So a warm welcome back to this final episode of this BMW podcast series where we are looking at electric myths. I am your host today. I am once more in the driving seat. I'm Charlie Martin. I'm a racing driver. Of course I'm in the driving seat.
Glad you're in the driver's seat. I feel safe already.
Safe hands.
Yes, and I'm Tomi. I'm a tech reviewer. I talk about cars and tech online. And we're in this lovely place, which this is going to be our last episode here. I hope we'll get to come back again.
I'm going to miss the BMW Welt. It's been a fantastic location to sit and record in this beautiful BMW i4.
Absolutely, and there's so many people here. What a lovely way to spend your Friday evening, just having a look at cars, picking up cars, just mingling. It's just really nice to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we've got one final myth that we're going to try and expand, and I think we've got a good chance that we're going to blow this one out of the water. Because today's myth that we're going to talk about is that electric cars are tricky, that they're really complicated. Some people think the battery is the Achilles heel, that there aren't enough charging stations, and so on and so on. Tomi, what do you think?
You know what? The most complicated part of this is understanding how battery technology works, because I'm no scientist. My maths is not the best, but...
I challenge you to the worst maths, by the way.
But you know what? As a consumer who's looking to buy one, it's not complicated at all. You don't need to understand how the battery works and all this production things that we spoke about in this series so far. What you need to understand are things to do with like charging, the range, tips and tricks to make sure that you can make your range last as long as possible. And they're not complicated at all. So for me, I think is this even a myth?
I think so. I mean, do you know, my personal experience here is I've got two brothers, and one of them, bless him, I love him to bits, but he is the least technical person in the world that I know, to such an extent that he actually asked me to come over and do DIY for him sometimes. And he drives an EV, and I often think, if he can figure it out, it can't be that difficult.
I mean, you showed us even simple things like charging it. Look how easy was that to just plug in and go.
Yeah.
Yes, I did say you don't really need to know how batteries work and stuff. All you need to understand is different type of charging speeds and stuff. That's fairly straightforward to understand. Same way as if you're having a combustion engine car, you have different ratings, run 9 to 5 and 9 to 8 or whatever, different octane, whatever. It's just the same as electric cars. You just have to understand you have 11 kilowatts, you have a wall box charging, you have public charging, you have super fast chargers and stuff like that. You just have to ask your dealership and say, well, here's my lifestyle. I need something that's going to last me a certain amount of range. This is the kind of range that I do on a daily basis. This is the access that I have. And they can sort you out and say, well, you need a faster charge car. You need something semi-fast or whatever. So it's really not that difficult. It's not tricky at all.
And actually, when you think about people's traditional fears of car ownership, right? Let's dig into this for a moment. The engine, things going wrong with the engine. You think about the amount of components in an engine, running low on oil, the cooling system not working, running out of water, all these different parts of an engine. And, you ask most people in the street, how does an engine work? Could they actually really describe to you in a lot of detail?
I definitely can't. I've been on the motorway before when my cam belt snapped.
Right.
And that wasn't a good experience.
That's definitely not. That's one belt that I know that you never want to snap.
Nope, the engine was gone after that.
I'm sorry to hear that. But my point being is that actually you compare a combustion engine car to an electric car, and you have so fewer components because you don't have an engine with all these, camshafts and drive belts and, like a crankshaft and a flywheel. It's all actually just electric motors. There's so fewer components in an electric car that actually it's like, well, why do people think they're more complicated?
No. And you know what that means as well for anyone watching or listening? It just means less stress. There's less things to fix. There's less reasons to visit a mechanic for anything. So you can literally run your car, just need to clean your car.
Yeah.
Like keep it clean, look after it, polish it, whatever you want to do, and just enjoy the ride. Honestly, it's that. Literally, that's it.
Yeah, I think so. And this myth about there aren't enough charging stations, there's not enough infrastructure. We disproved that.
There's
said
loads.
In Europe alone, there are over 425,000 charging points that consumers can access, and another side of this, I mean, I'll bring it back to where I live. Down in Brighton, we actually have charging stations on charging points on some of the lampposts.
Right. So you could charge overnight.
Yeah, so if this thing of, okay, if you don't have your own house, your own driveway, well, actually where I live, people park up in the street and they plug up onto these points and charge their EVs overnight.
Yeah.
So I've seen this happening.
Yeah, I don't have a driveway. I just plug mine next to my flat,
Yeah.
which is, or an apartment, depending where you're listening to this from. I can just plug it in overnight or give it just quick top up here and there, and it's completely fine. And when I'm not there, my car has the technology to lead me to the charging stations that I need. So the technology is there. BMWs have my BMW app, which means you can navigate where you need to go before you even get in the car. So you can plan your journey better.
Yeah.
You don't have to stress about range at all, which used to be a thing at the start when EVs became, start to come to market. But now you literally have no reason to be stuck anywhere.
No. And another myth that I just want to bring up, this idea about the longevity of batteries. I mean, it's a fact that batteries over time, they can lose a little bit of capacity. But actually, this is a very, very slow process. This is something that might be like 1% per year. And we talked in other episodes about all the tips people can use to actually, slow that process down even more by, parking the car out of the direct sun in the summer if they're leaving it, or putting it in the garage in the winter. There's all little tricks.
Not overcharging it. You don't need to charge the 100% all the time, for example. 80% is more than enough for most people.
Yeah.
There are, like we were saying, we've spoken about so many different tips and tricks throughout the series that can help you prolong the life of your battery, and the warranty that comes with them as well is incredible. I think BMW do what, like 8 years? Not, it's that.
Yeah.
Also, so you have plenty of reasons to get an EV, and we spoke in one of the episodes about how fun they are to drive.
Yeah.
They're fast, stable, handles corners very well, and they have so much tech in them now, including things like lane keep assist, all this amazing safety technology to keep you safe on the road, which honestly, the future's bright.
Yeah, the future is bright. And I think, my real takeaway, because, I've learned so much in this 10-part series, just expanding all these ideas. And I think the real takeaway for me is that it's not complicated, but it's just that it's a bit of a new technology. I think whenever we're presented with new technology in society, there's a period of adaptation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going through right now. And I think some people inevitably, they're scared of new things. They're a little bit resistant to change.
That's it.
But actually, the things that they're being resistant to, well, I'd say, there are a few things that we've said, that weren't quite so black and white, but the majority of things we've talked about in this series, we've disproven them.
Yeah, and we're making progress.
And we're making progress too.
As overall. And you know what? You don't have to take our words for it. You can just book yourself a test drive in one of these i4s, for example, and just go out on the road, see how you feel. Put your foot down, try it out, try charging it up, and just have a go.
Yeah, wise words. Give it a go, people.
Give it a go.
Well, folks, I think we're going to wrap up on that. I mean, there's not much more we can say other than, go out there, plug in and give it a go.
That's it. And if you do end up getting one, tell us about your experience.
Absolutely. We'd love to know. Please put a comment in the box. And if you've not already, subscribe, go back, check out all the other episodes in this series. And, maybe we'll be joining you again in the future. Who knows?
Time for some carpool karaoke.
I don't know about that.
We'll see you in the next one.
So long, folks.